how about Bruntz like stirring the pot though? I kind of like. So when he said Glenn Thomas to reset, the question I asked him was,
Yeah.
if Nebraska's going to have the kind of season we want them to have, who's the assistant coach we're talking about?
Yeah, who did a good job.
And kind of rhetorically, he said, well, is it too easy to just say Glenn Thomas?
Which I think is a fair answer.
Not even, it wasn't
but
even
it didn't
in
even
my,
occur to me.
You either?
No.
Me neither.
Because I think it's weird. I think of Dylan Raiola independent from Glenn Thomas.
So that's another point. But that goes along my lines of what I said the other day about wide receiver play versus quarterback, and going all the way back to quarterback play versus special teams.
Mm-hmm.
DR gets this thing. We just assume Raiola's going to be good.
Well, that's not necessarily.
Do you know what I mean?
I think that some people do. I'm not even assuming he's going to be good. I just assume he's going to be what he is. And I don't really think
that's good, right?
No, I don't know. I mean, whatever he is, I think of that in a vacuum, not associated to Glenn Thomas. I don't know why. I don't have a good reason. But when I think of Glenn Thomas, I think of, well, if Heinrich Harburg has to play for some reason, I think Heinrich got better. Right? And that matters too, right?
I guess because we do know that he's uber talented.
Yes. Yeah, we're coming from a different spot with Raiola. So I don't really think of Glenn Thomas associated with Dylan Raiola. I think of Glenn Thomas associated with Danny Kaelin and Heinrich Harburg.
Yeah, it's very, very hard to get good quarterback play early. We've established that.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I just think we need to.
But going back to the thing Coach Rule says all the time, hey, we might need 2 or 3 to get through the season.
Stop.
No, I'm being serious. That I think of Heinrich Harburg when I think of Glenn Thomas, because he looked different in the spring than he did last fall.
He looked incredible.
And he had looked different last fall.
I meant
incremental,
relative to the
progression, right? And he looked different last fall than he did in the spring before. So, like, he's a guy that's improved a lot. And I think having Glenn Thomas, if Heinrich Harburg does have to play for whatever reason, I think Glenn Thomas matters more there, which, again, is an answer to your question still, but I don't think of it in the context of Raiola.
Yeah, and I would have even entertained your discussion with the running back spot with Barthel, and that wouldn't have been your answer.
No, that wouldn't have been my answer. I do think it's
I do like...
Fair point.
I like a lot of them.
Yeah, I think you can make an argument for a lot of different guys. Barthel's a good point, because if he is able to get that running back room to...
Remember what we thought of Grant from 2 years ago to...
Yeah.
Last year,
or the way a lot of people
that's a heck of a jump that EJ got them.
Or the way a lot of people still feel about Emmett Johnson, or like maybe we get a healthy Gabe Irvin or Ramir Johnson. Like, those are, if those guys can lift some of that pressure off of Dylan Raiola, then the running back room could very well be the most important on the team. And I don't think they have to be special. They do have to be a little bit better, right? Like, incrementally, they can get better without still, like, I don't look at anybody in that room as like, oh man, that's a dude. Like, maybe someday, but I don't think they've got one of those guys on campus right now. But that doesn't mean they still can't do an incredible job of helping out the offense and taking pressure off the quarterback spot. And that would be a testament to EJ Barthel. But my answer was Butler. Immediately. The only guy I thought of.
Huh.
The only guy I thought of.
I mean, I could see it.
Because we've talked about this well before the Evan Cooper stuff happened with, hey, we got some questions in the defensive backfield, right?
Did you scare yourself walking Bruntz through the depth in the defensive backfield?
I didn't scare myself. I was just like, you realize what we're dealing with, right?
Well, just you say a lot of things out loud about depth.
But this is a thing that we have thought and talked about a lot. So I wasn't.
Regardless, some young guys are going to have to be ready to go.
Yes, they're going to have to be able to play at a high level. And the thing I was thinking with Bruntz was, well, okay, they lost Singleton and Buford last year, and it was okay. So that, in my mind, and I get that Phelan Sanford and Omar Brown aren't there anymore.
Omar's coming. Hey, yo.
Hit stick, Omar Brown. That's my guy.
Man.
He hammered people.
Yeah, I loved his attitude.
And I love Phelan Sanford. But like, those are two guys that we probably, if you told us at the start of the year, hey, you're going to have to count heavily on Phelan Sanford and Omar Brown, not on special teams, but in real defensive back positions, we'd have been like, ooh, we're in trouble.
How many times have we watched Phelan Sanford practically knock himself out hitting somebody?
Dude, I love Phelan Sanford.
Me too.
Like, there's a reason both those guys getting looks on NFL rosters, right?
So,
but to me, it's Butler, no question.
Okay.
Because of what you said, young guys are going to have to be good, and that's on him.
We'll go back to the running backs real quick.
Yeah.
So 176 yards a game last year, right?
Mhm.
Which is 21-10 or whatever. 21. What's
It's right at 2,000, somewhere right in the
let's
2,000
just
range.
say 21-10 to be safe.
Mhm.
If I plugged in 21-10 this year for this offense,
Mhm.
you think we're good?
I need more context.
Okay.
Because the touchdowns are the thing that got us last year.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
Like this goes into that, and we don't have time to get into the whole thing now, but that like margin of error thing we were talking about with tennis before, like we're winning enough of the points. We're not winning enough of the matches, right? We're not winning enough of the sets within the points. Like those are the touchdowns. We're not finishing the sets with the points we win.
Yeah, I kind of like the Dvorak answer.
Dvorak's a good answer.
Partly because I like, but I like. There's not one of those guys going, "Oh, I don't like him." I don't.
No, I like the options there.
But I was kind of early in on the. And now, granted, I had an unfair advantage because I'm actually watching because this goes back to last year.
Mhm.
I just told you I was like, I love the way Dvorak teaches. Right, kind of gets on a knee, talks with. Steals reps,
and that's a guy that you talked about maybe being a head coach someday. Like that's
I
you
was
were
just
early on.
I was like, gosh, he would pull Maverick to the side, and I just loved the instruction. And this goes back, I think, last spring. And so when I'm watching guys like Shavers,
I'm
is
excited about Shavers.
Dude,
I like Shavers.
Hey,
I like a guy that looks the part. Like,
and I'm just telling you,
yeah,
the look fits the personality.
Yeah.
Caleb loves that, dude.
Well, I mean, one of the only true freshmen that got called out unprompted by Matt Rule in spring.
Loves that, dude.
Yeah.
Just the go to work toughness. But if Wright has developed, if Bullock is developed, if these guys, you could convince me that it's Dvorak, but it's still, at first blush, wasn't my answer.
Yeah, I'm still sticking with Butler. I'm going to be honest with you. I think that's the place outside of quarterback where obviously you're starting a true freshman. That's the place where young guys are going to have to be the best.
At first blush, I would have said Donnie Raiola.
See, and I thought about Raiola. He's the only other guy I even thought of.
Can you believe how all over the 5 guys that give you 5 different answers?
Coming up next, Nick Osen to talk a little Wisconsin.